Hey now, welcome to the Dirty Side of the Track, America's leading Formula One podcast. That's Rob, I'm Brian. There's no race this week, but we still have a lot of good stuff to talk about and a preview of Imola. How are you, my friend?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks, Brian. Yeah, you know, we have quite a bit of news to get through. You've been busy in the video vault. We've got to pick our next three set of casino games because that seems to be going down well with everyone, and I'm enjoying doing it as
I
well.
am too, I am too.
The Imola preview, and then also squeezed in is breaking news. There's going to be a 12th team on the grid next year, and it's been nominated that the Dirty Side is going to select which team that is because Brian and I have both got a little bit of OCD, and 11 teams. It's just wrong. It's an odd number. It needs to be even. So we've been given 16 potential candidates that we're going to whittle down and nominate the 12th team on the grid next year. So you've got to hang around for that, definitely.
I do like the fact that
Um,
with two drivers each, at least we have 22. So at least that's an acceptable number of
that
drivers.
make that when we look at it through a driver lens, it
Yeah,
becomes acceptable. But constructor wise, it just hurts my brain. It's
yeah.
just 11. That's odd. You can't do that. Right, okay, let's jump into the news and social. Where first we've got a story that's evolving, and I still don't know what the story is. It started off being a complete, I'll say it online, became a hate fest for Flavio
It
Briatore, but
did.
now we might be winding back on that a little bit based on some breaking news. So here we go. Oliver Oakes resigned of being the team principal of Alpine after less than a year in the role, and no reason was given at the time. And then the news came out that Flavio had assumed the team principal role in the interim. So it was like, oh, play the bad guy music from any film that you like, and have Flavio enter stage left, and there we go. It was all set up. And of course, then very quickly after, his first evil act is to Stewart and bring in Colapinto for Imola. So at this point, it's the evil
It
Briatore
had to
strikes
have been,
again.
right? And
Oh,
Monday. This is
easy.
all
Yeah.
Monday. The
Yep.
rumors on the Switch Sunday and Monday. Then Ollie resigns Monday night, our time. It came out on Monday afternoon, and then Tuesday the Switch is confirmed on the drivers. And like you say, everyone's like, "Oh, Ollie didn't want Jack to go. Flavio wanted Franco in the seat, so they got in a huge argument. Flavio's a jerk. He's got a long history of being a bit of a character. Ollie resigns. Flavio takes his role and makes a switch. Done deal, right?
Yeah. That's
Wrong.
it. Next story. Next. Yeah, wrong. So then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, this story breaks that Oliver Oak's brother, I didn't write down his name, so I want to say William, but could have made that up
The younger of
completely.
the Oaks. He's younger than Ollie.
Okay, the younger Oakes, Oakes Jr., gets arrested for being in possession of apparently quite a large amount of cash. And at the same time, there are rumours of, but I'm still yet to be confirmed and seen, that Oliver Oakes then fled to Dubai. And it all apparently, as you start digging into this, all looks a bit smelly because apparently they both co-own High Tech,
Yep.
which has got some kind of connection to the Mazepins and some dodgy money that happened around the Ukraine invasion time. And anyway, I'm not going to get into all that stuff, but all looks a bit dodgy now. And maybe Flavio was right with that statement about all this stuff coming out is wrong. The reason he's resigned has got nothing to do with me. And everybody went, yeah, of course, Flavio.
Well, let's not let Flavio off the hook totally. He clearly was behind the Doohan Colapinto situation. And so if you were a Jack Doohan fan or a Mick Doohan fan, your Doohan got done by Flavio. So that's the way I would.
You're not doing very well at the moment.
Exactly. You're not if you are a fan. And so that still happened, right? And we'll get into that in a second here, more of the driver swap. But you're totally right. Like all of his crash gate and all of his other situations in his past, his lifetime ban, which was overturned by a French court, all those other things still exist, but maybe he didn't have anything to do with Ali resigning.
I did see a great post online that said maybe Briatore got the cash planted on Oakes's brother so that he could set this whole set of
No,
events into motion.
that's fantastic. That is just the best rumor in the. I mean, we don't even need the chopper. It would have crashed with that amount of chaos. Anyway, back to the driver swap. We'll obviously learn more about what's going on with Ollie Oakes and younger Oakes as time goes on. But with the driver swap, so as we'd all heard so many times, Jack's seat was warm. He had a shorter contract where he had to be in the seat. And then they bring Franco in. And I'm thinking, okay, so they saw enough of Franco last year. Williams loaned him out to Alpine for this time, and Alpine said, we're going to use him. Great. But then in the statement, they say, we're just rotating the drivers, and he'll be assessed in 5 races before Silverstone, I think. And I'm thinking to myself, what? We're doing temporary stints now? I don't understand what's going down at Alpine. So I'm back on the Alpine is all chaos, Alpine,
Oh,
all pain
100%.
bandwagon after seeing this rotation aspect. I thought it was dumb, but again, I don't know anything. Rob, do you feel like you're more attuned to why they would do this?
No, I mean I don't know. Valves has said that they've got the option to bring Colapinto back, even though this isn't a loan deal. They've actually bought his contract, and he is an Alpine driver. But Valve seems to think he's got some hold on him, which maybe that's a clause in the contract, right? Maybe it's got some clause about minimum number of races that Colapinto has to do, and if he doesn't do those, they get to bring him back over to. God knows, but so they go what? Let Colapinto have a go for 5 races, and then have a big powwow after Silverstone and go right, Jack. This is how many points you scored in your 5 or 4 or what? 5 he's had, hasn't he? 5, 6. How many
6.
races
We
have we
did
had?
6. We
6.
did 6.
So you've had 6, Jack. Colapinto, you've had 5. Now you're going to arm wrestle to see who gets the next 5 races. I mean, are they just going to flip flop back and forth all season? Because I think you dug into it and said you're allowed 4 drivers a year, right?
I'm
And
fairly
if they
certain.
flip flop between these two, it's not 4 changes, is it? It's 4
Correct.
drivers.
It's 4
So they could
drivers.
just keep going 5, 5, 5, 5, 5 for the rest of the season between these two if they really wanted to.
I guess, but like, I'm fairly certain it's 4, right? Like, didn't we see that at Racing Bulls when they brought people through? Liam got a chance at the seat. Yuki, it might have been post De Vries. I could be wrong on that, but it was Yuki and it was Ricardo and Liam and so forth. And so once you name 4, you have to just use those 4. So if they chose at the end of Franco's time to go a different direction, you now are stuck with using one of those 4 drivers in each of your seats the rest of the year. And you may have to call Jack up if someone gets, appendicitis. Carlos Sainz, Alex Albon style, and like, can you come back and race for us for a race? I mean, he should be like, yes, for $10 million. How are they going to decide this? Like, is it going to be Flavio, and are they going to call Ollie Oakes on the phone, and Bruno Famin, and Otmar, and Cyril? I mean, I got 16 principals in the last few years. Who's going to? They could make a whole WebEx meeting about it. It's chaos at Alpine, and they're all like, oh, we're trying to get the team sold. Well, maybe don't light everything on fire every 5 minutes.
Yeah, true, true. What I was going to say is, thought if they do flip flop between Doohan and Colapinto for the rest of the season, then I just want to say thoughts and prayers with our friends Adam and Rob over at Fantasyland. They'll have to make head nor tail of what the heck's going to happen with all these driver swaps in and out and repricing, because everyone's there saying, "Oh, Colapinto can't possibly come in at like whatever it was." I think Doohan's almost down at the bottom, like 4.5, 5.5. Yeah, but Colapinto's so much better, he can't. Well, he probably will, because all the previous swaps we've done, the driver that comes in pretty much inherits the price of the other one. So now you've got people all kind of swarming around to see if they're all going to take Colapinto into their lineup. But my second team, named Abu Dhabi Doohan, question mark. I mean, I don't know. Will he be? If they keep swapping back and forward, maybe my team name will be true and Doohan will race in Abu Dhabi. Who knows? But anyway, let's move on from Alpine disaster. Let's move over to a different team with some more restructuring. So Audi have restructured yet again. Binotto has now been made the head of Audi F1 because CEO Adam Baker has left after Audi said, yeah, your role's basically pretty much obsolete since Binotto came in. I mean, I'd love to have seen that dynamic that probably, Adam welcomes Binotto on, or here's some great experience. They're getting together famously. He's driving him around in a little car, going to vineyards and
It's not him and
checking
Gunter,
things
but
out.
yeah.
And then suddenly, like, Adam sat there one day going, I'm really not that busy, but Binotto seems to be doing everything around here at the moment. I wonder what's going on. And yeah, your role doesn't exist anymore. Sorry.
That's crazy. And to think Bonotto wasn't even there that long ago.
Yeah.
He's come in and everything has changed. He's changed everyone around basically as they've taken the team forward. So a lot of change getting ready for next season. MBS Mohammed Ben Sulayem is thinking about scrapping the cost cap, and his quote that Rob found is, "It's just giving the FIA a headache. What's the point of it? I don't see the point. I really don't." I saw this headline and I was up in arms because I think the cost cap is doing exactly what it needs to do. And now we will have our first new set of regs that came in following a cost cap set of regs. What I mean by that is the 22 season, I think, is when we started the cost cap, when it was a brand new set of regs. But teams in 21 and the time before had unlimited spending to run into 22 because Mercedes and
Yep,
Ferrari
yep.
and Red Bull had, deep pockets and they spent whatever they wanted. This will be the first time we get a chance to roll in following a cost cap set of regulations into another cost capped set of regulations. And I'm excited. I'm actually excited to see what happens. I feel like the
So,
little guy might have a chance.
well, same here. I mean, I would say, like, what's the point? I don't see the point of it. I really don't. Well, Haas and Williams would like a word.
Yeah.
Because Haas struggled to spend up to the cost cap, but about now kind of like up there in kind of really cemented in the midfield rather than being also rans at the bottom. Williams are on a kind of a rejuvenation at the moment, with those two at the moment looking like they getting a
And
bit feisty.
rumored that
It's
they're
like,
already on 26. So,
yeah,
they
exactly.
may be
So,
ready to play ball with the big guys next year.
oh, well, I'm sorry, Mohammed. Like, what? It's a little bit of a headache to police the cost cap that you introduced. I mean, it just sounds like, oh, it's a bit hard, really. We don't really want to do hard work over here at the FIA. It's just like, can we just
I
get
thought
rid
that
of it?
was a
It'd be
dumb
easier. It's just,
story.
yeah, yeah, dumb, dumb, dumb. Um, one that's kind of just like almost a little nothing burger, really. But it'd be interesting to see if it goes anywhere. There's more and more names being thrown into the hat for running for president for FIA, and apparently the latest one that's going to go for it is Carlos Sainz Senior. So, I mean, that would be pretty cool. He seems a pretty good dude and well
Yeah.
rooted in the
Oh, yeah.
world of racing. I'm sure he won't give his son any preferential treatment if he gets
I
that
was thinking
position.
the same thing. I actually called Carlos. I met him the other day when I was at the gym here in Northbrook, Illinois, and I said, "Hey, Carlos, let me ask you about this. What's the deal with your dad?" And he said,
It's my dad. This guy's my dad. I'm my dad. Or he is me. No, I am him. I am him.
he's so confused, just like we are, if his dad's going to run or not. But another statistic on someone who's older, Fernando Alonso, and Andy, thank you for this note. Fernando Alonso has been driving in F1 long enough to see 4 different popes. He's the first F1 driver to ever accomplish that.
Oh, by the way, did you
Yeah.
see that the latest Pope is essentially a Dirty Side fan
Well, he's from Chicago.
from Chicago? And what's his name?
Leo?
That's his official name that
Robert?
he's assumed, Robert. So we
Rob.
have Robert from Chicago. I mean, that is the Dirty Side Pope. I mean, come on, there we go.
We won't. We don't have to get into the fact that every single person has sent me a text message about him being from Chicago and therefore a Bears fan and hates the Packers. And as I live in Chicago, it's all. And I mean everything. I'm getting texts. Oh, he was eating at Aurelio's last summer, a pizza place down in Homewood. I'm like, oh, okay, great.
I'm just saying that the Dirty Side now has representation in the Vatican. I
I
mean, that's
think
how
that's
big
brilliant.
we are.
Yeah,
So
that's exactly
fantastic.
right. Yes. Well, we wish
Um,
him all the best, obviously. But now on to a sadder story, Rob. I'll let you cover this one.
Yeah, a sadder one that I kind of saw sort of buried throughout the headlines, and it was it's always sad when someone passes away, and I had to then Google how to say this because I knew it's German, so I think it's Jochen Mass passed away this week, age 78. The German started 105 races and won one, and podiumed 8 times and scored 71 points across his career. He raced for Surtees, McLaren, ATS, Arrows, and March. However, it's fair to say that this guy's career was kind of speckled with a whole bunch of tragedy, really. His win in Spain came after leader Rolf Stommelen.
Yeah,
Car hit a
Strommelen.
barrier, exploded into flames, catapulted into the crowd. Spectators were killed, and Stommelen suffered multiple fractures and was in a critical state. So they just stopped the race and just said, right, final positions are where you are. Well, he was second, so he inherited the win. So his one win comes
Wow.
from, yeah, I know. He was also the one that Gilles Villeneuve collided with in '82 Belgium GP that led to Gilles Villeneuve dying. So when he came flying around the corner, Jochen tried to get offline, as you do, to get out of the way of a faster car. But apparently Gilles had already seen him and he'd moved to go cover off going to the other side. So they end up colliding and
Oh,
big ball of flames. Later that same season, in July, he decided to call it quits in F1 because he had an accident with Mauro Baldi at the French Grand Prix in Paul Ricard. His March and the arrows of Baldi touched at maximum speed. Both cars flew off the track through a containment fence. Mass's car continued, hit a tire line guide rail. The March came to rest upside down, on fire, halfway into a spectator area. And amazingly, he escaped with light burns, and Boldy was completely uninjured. And Mass basically said, "I think I'm done with this F1 thing," and just walked
Jeez.
away. He
Wow.
raced in other series, apparently. He did 12 editions of Le Mans and a whole bunch of other racing series. But yeah, his interaction with F1 was traumatic. Let's just say that.
Yeah. Wow. Well,
That's almost a mini veiled tale right there.
it is. It was a very mini veil tail, which is perfect because you're a mini guy. And
Ah,
so, well done. But yes, rest in peace to Yakin and his family and friends. It's always sad when we lose a driver at any point. But with that, let's shift gears and open the video vault. This week was chaos, man. I had so much going on at work. It was a nice,
well, I
solid
must say,
65-hour week kind of situation where it was just
yes.
nonstop. And then end of school year, for us at least, is every night there's something with my kids, which is great. But like, holy moly, this was a busy week.
So I just want to say that because you and I trade notes during the week, I knew you were having a rough week at work. I knew you got all this stuff going on. So I was like, oh, this could be one of those weeks where there's like one or maybe nothing in the video vault. But kudos to you, because I'm looking at a list here where this is a list where you've been usually traveling the week before and we get not a lot, and then you're home the following week and you go crazy. Well, this is almost a following work travel week craziness. You've done super well here.
Well, what happens is when you get home late at night after watching your kids dance or whatever it may be, driving them around, all you do is turn on YouTube and have a glass of wine before you go straight to bed. So eat basically one a day. And some of them are good, some of them are not. That's crazy. The Charles Leclerc, Lewis Hamilton, and the Ferrari Driver Academy team take on the Focus Challenge. It's 3 minutes total. It's 2.5. Feel free to skip it. They're just trying to roll a tennis ball into a thing at the end of the table. This was the laziest content Ferrari's ever pumped out. Battling the Jeddah heat with Carlos Sainz. Give everything on the Williams channel. I actually have 2 from Williams this week. 6 minutes. I thought this was interesting. If you want to see how drivers try to deal with the heat, Carlos's trainer was working with him and all of the technology to keep him cool, not just during the race, but during practice and quali at Jeddah. It was nice to see, and as someone who runs a little hot, I might invest in some of that technology myself to stop the regular sweats I have just on normal days. So it was recon for me. And then one of my favorites every year, drivers react to their F1 25 ratings on the Formula One channel, 14 minutes. These are always great, no exception. This was fun. And this year, as they kind of did last year, they give the full dossier on each driver to their teammate. And so the teammate knows the answer, and they quiz the driver on what they think their score is, and the teammate kind of is looking at it like, ha, 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 wrong. And so I thought that was good. What a comeback.
On that one, I only saw the short version on Instagram, and it it will be interesting to see if it ages well in terms of how Oscar has been rated amongst
Yes.
all of his peers, given where we are right now. Obviously,
Well,
Oscar might not hold on to where he is right now, and it might be perfectly correct, that rating, but kind of think that he got done a little dirty there compared
well,
to
they
some of
got
his
like the
peers.
experience one, and everyone's joking like Fernando's going to be a 99. He was like a 99 or something. Like just because you hung around a long time doesn't mean one of your ratings should be that high. But what a comeback. The Great American Quiz with Alex, Carlos, and Leah on the Williams channel. 10 minutes. It was good. Leah Block, Ken Block's, the late Ken Block's daughter, who's part of the Williams team in the academy. It could have been better. It was a bit chaotic because Leah was kind of running the game with really no respect for the rules, which, again, I'm not saying I'm a stickler for the rules, but Carlos and Alex were just making it up as they were going. Until she mispronounced a state. Mispronounced a U.S. state. She's American.
Oh,
And
okay.
it wasn't Illinois where you get an Illinois, but it was very similar. And I'll let you guys find it if you want. And then the last video, just because we have to talk about it, because Richard Hammond versus James May, plane versus car race on the Tribe channel. Easy for me to say, Drive Tribe.
Is this new?
Yes, 19 minutes. It dropped this week. It already has 1 million views. It is excellent. Now, Rob, I got you 19 minutes of content for you to go to watch as soon as we hang up.
100%. I saw you put this in here, and I was going to mock you, going, "Oh, you drudging up old Hammond versus May stuff, are you?" But they've done new content. I I try to watch these. Normally, when I do the newsletter and I embed the videos, I will watch especially the shorter ones, just to make sure I've watched the ones that you've put the effort into putting here. But this is 19 minutes that I'm definitely
It is
investing
good
into. I
too.
love these
And,
guys.
Yeah, I do too. And it's they tell great. It's just go watch it. Everyone should watch it. It is Top Gear returns with one of their more traditional, battles, and I really enjoyed it. So with that, we're closing the vault.
Okay, let's hit this 12th team malarkey. So, earlier this week, I was surfing around F1 threads, as I like to do, and just keeping up with what's going on. And Paddock Passion, a great account to follow. If you don't follow Paddock Passion, make sure you do. They put this graphic up there that said, select a 12th team you'd want in F1. And they put 16 teams up there. And I was like, oh, that's genius. That's really, really good idea. That in a week where we won't have much content, this feels like content stealing at its finest. So I made sure I replied to the thread and I said, hey guys, are you okay if we basically completely rip this off and use this as our content this week? And they were like, yeah, absolutely. Just tag us when you drop it. So Paddock Passion, you will be tagged when this comes out. I did slightly change the list to 16 because there were a couple on there that basically me and Brian had no idea who they were.
Well, I do, but you didn't. But there's some I still don't. But anyway.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure you will get there for all of these. I think you will. So we replaced a couple, and the idea is we've got 16 different potential constructors. And how we're going to discuss this is, even if these guys have appeared once or twice as either engine suppliers or token sponsorship title teams, forget all that. This is everything all in. We're going to pick a new constructor that's going to come in. They're going to do everything. We're going to just assume they can build the whole car and do the power unit. So I'll quickly run down the 16. Then we have, for anybody that remembers the Dirty Side draft from last year, where we drafted Silly Season, and we were epically incorrect. Almost everything. The plastic bag and pieces of paper has returned. I have all 16 potential constructors in here.
Oh, boy.
We'll draw out 2. We'll debate which one goes through to the next round, and then I'll throw the other one on the floor behind me until we're down to our final constructors. So the constructors are...
Wait, before you read it, we're going to start with a little game show theme. Now that you've explained it, we're going to raise the energy in this pod. So everyone listening, stand up, walk around, take a swig of your beer, because it's time for Who Will Be Our 12th Constructor? With your host, Robert F. Vale Incorporated.
Okay, so we have Lotus. You're good with that one, Brian? You know
Lots of
Lotus
trouble, usually serious.
Can you say the next one? Because I want to hear the American pronunciation.
Hyundai.
See, that always jars with me, but I would say Hyundai. But you say Hyundai, especially when you hear on some of the commercials on TV, they just go Hyundai.
Well, Hyundai, they actually say rhymes with Sunday. In fact, close enough is what I've heard.
Okay, well, maybe it's just us Europeans say it wrong, but whatever.
Yeah.
Then we got Lamborghini, Porsche, Toyota, Honda, BMW, Bugatti, Nissan, Brabham, Ford. The one I can't say that they always drove the really fast ones on Top Gear, and Clarkson always loved it when he got the new Koenigsegg.
Yep.
Peugeot, which you probably don't know Peugeot unless you know that they built the supercars for Le Mans, because they don't sell road cars over here.
Right, but I know of Peugeot.
Peugeot, yeah, you know of Peugeot. Mm-hmm. It's not a poo. It's not like a number 2 at the beginning. Then Alfa Romeo, but proper Alfa Romeo, not just putting their livery designs on a Sauber. Volkswagen, and then just to finish on an American for the American number 1 podcast, Dodge.
That thing got a Hemi in it? Sweet.
So, are you ready, Brian, for the drawing of the first pair? I'm
incredibly ready.
Okay, so I have
Peugeot.
Like the.
By the way, Porsche. You say Porsche. You don't say Porsche.
It's Porsche. It's same. We don't say Nike. It's Nike. And I know we're wrong. We're probably wrong for Porsche. But for me, it's Porsche and Nike. For you, it's Porsche and Nike or whatever it is.
Nissan. You say Nissan.
Yeah.
Can we just say Datsun and call it a day?
Okay, right. The first pair up, Honda versus the one I can't say very well from Top Gear.
Koenigsegg.
Yeah, we go.
Christian von Koenigsegg is the CEO. It's a cool car.
Yeah. So, what's your thoughts on these two? How are you going to What's your thoughts on who you're going to put through to the next round?
I mean, Honda has a huge track record of Formula One engine supplies and And being in Formula One, and I'm picking Koenigsegg because they're crazy. They're just mental. They made a four-door supercar.
I completely agree.
Hypercar.
Honda, you had your chance.
Yeah.
You had a go. You've dabbled with Formula One a number of times. Let's give a new kid on the block a
Yeah,
chance. And let's
I want to
some
see
kind
a
of crazy
Koenigsegg go
supercar
around the
on there.
track that, they actually put like a little spark plug in the exhaust so that the exhaust lights on fire like kids would do in high school. Do you ever see that? People do that.
No.
Yeah,
So
you
here we
can
go.
kind
Right,
of
okay.
set that up. But anyway, all right, Koenigsegg it is.
Right, next two to go head to head. We have Dodge versus. Oh, then this is going to be super difficult for me. Dodge versus Porsche. Now, I'm just going to give
That's
my
hard
thoughts
for
on this
you?
one first. Yeah,
Yeah.
this is hard, and I'll tell you why. Porsche, I mean, just ultimate sports car. The 911 Turbo as a kid, that was one of your probably posters on the bedroom wall type thing. But
Definitely.
I was a big Gran Turismo fan, and I used to love driving the Dodge Viper and absolutely upgrading that bad boy to be the most ridiculous thing on four wheels that as soon as you even slightly tap the accelerator, the whole thing just kind of spun round in circles because it was ridiculously overpowered. The idea of a Dodge Viper Formula One car. Oh man, boy, oh boy. I don't know which way you leaning on this one.
Well, first of all, Porsche is the easy answer, but it's not what I'm going to say either. I'm going Dodge. So here's why, and you nailed it. Porsche, they make some of the best sports cars around. It took me years to like them, if I'm being honest, because I always thought they were just little Beetles. And they're air-cooled and V6 engines and I6 engines, and I'm like, that's not enough power. But it's perfectly balanced. They're lightweight. They handle like a dream. But that's technically sound and beautiful. I'll take Dodge. I'll take the Viper with a V10 truck engine. My friend, his father had a Viper. The first job I ever had was because I crashed the Viper into bushes. It's a true story. First of all, in the 92, 93, 94 series of Vipers, they had the side pipes, whereas you got in and out of the car, it burnt the hair off your leg. So every guy who had a Viper had bald calves because you'd get in the car and those things were about 4,000 degrees. They'd burn your skin, melt the hair off. The tires were so wide they touched in the back. So it's got to be the Dodge team.
I'm leaning with you as well. So let's pick the American muscle car for America's podcast. So next two up, we have BMW versus Hyundai. Hyundai on a Sunday. Are we going to see Hyundai racing on a Sunday, or are we going to see a BMW driving right behind another F1 car, flashing its lights, being aggressive, trying to get past? Because that's what BMW drivers do, right?
As I now have a BMW, I think that's accurate. What is the race spec that Hyundai offers on their road cars? The N? It's the N performance brand. I'm pretty sure that's correct. So we have N versus M is basically what it is. New to me, my BMW I just got is used, but new to me, I'm definitely voting BMW just because I just bought carpet floor mats.
I am as well, because as much as I like the idea of Hyundai on a Sunday, it doesn't conjure up sports car.
No.
BMW completely does. So yeah. Okay,
speaking of cars that are perfectly tuned, the M series cars from BMW are some of the best road going, usable sports cars, but then usable on a daily, in my humble opinion.
Okay, next up we have Lotus. Lots of tradition there. Versus Toyota, who also dabble in F1 from time to time.
Toyota kind of back advertising in their work with Haas, right? They're helping them with a bunch of stuff, and you see the Gazoo racing on the back of their car.
Yeah, I mean, I think Toyota have been fantastic as they've dipped in and out, but they can never really commit to it. But how can you look past John Player Special Lotus? I mean, come on.
You can't.
They got to come back.
Lotus is making a bunch of new cars now. I don't know how they have the money to do it. The Evija and the Amira, and one's electric, and Lotus.
Okay. All right, let's keep the pace going because we're going to have another couple of rounds of this to get to the last one. So we then have Alfa Romeo versus Lamborghini.
So we already have Koenigsegg, which is basically like the startup Lamborghini, right? It's, crazy looking cars. You have to have more money than brains to buy one, which is basically what Lamborghinis are still. But Alfa Romeo, I mean, man, like that 8C is gorgeous. Just gorgeous.
It might be. I mean, white Lamborghini Countach with its doors up was the first poster on my bedroom wall.
Yeah.
I'm voting Lambo here.
I'm going Lambo. I'll go with you. Lambo's
Oh,
good.
okay. So,
I mean,
sorry,
the
Alpha.
sound of a Lambo V12 is unique in this world, and you can actually hear it go by. I'm like, oh, someone's driving a Lambo in town.
Right, we're almost down to our last few now to find out who's this round. So, will we have a proper Formula One edition of Ford versus Ferrari because I've pulled Ford out of the hat, or will it be Volkswagen coming through with Herbie? I'm not sure.
I thought we did Porsche already with their squashed Beetles. So Volkswagen versus Ford?
Yeah, now, if I think of sports car pedigree, and it's not sports car, but as a kid, everybody wanted a Volkswagen Golf GTI. They were the hot hatch. They were ridiculously fast. Ford, in the UK at least, the Ford, they just kind of make family cars. But you do when you come over here, the Ford GT is absolutely spectacular. So, and the Ford Mustang. So, I'm a little torn on this one. My younger self is looking at the Golf GTI and saying, "Yeah, come on, let's have an F1 Golf." But Ford Mustang, I've had that once as a rental car over here, and it was an absolute dream. And I had to take the top down when I drove through the Boston tunnels and then floor it so I could make the echo. So that's stuck in my head. So I'm leaning towards Ford for the Mustang sound.
So, like, VW, I agree with you. My neighbor down the street, who's an F1 fan, Drew, he has a GTI, and he loves it. And, like, that, it's a, manual, and it's a great car. It is just a great car all around, and I would actually give VW credit. They made the Phaeton. Most people don't remember this car. They had a 5-liter V10 engine, optional engine. Yeah, optional. And it was affordable, and it was a VW, and it ran forever, and it sold like 7 units in the history of the world. But I'm still going, I'm with you, Ford. I mean, the GT40, and now they call it the GT, and the current iteration of it is just so gorgeous.
Yeah. I think they do.
I'm with you on Mustangs and all that. That's fine and good, but the GT for me.
Oh, the GT is special, yeah. And I can imagine some amazing. Can you imagine the GT Golf livery, but on an F1 car? And, I know. Right. Now we've got a bit of a historical matchup versus just brute speed matchup. We've got Brabham versus the people that give us the Veyron Bugatti.
Man, we've already done Lambo and Koenigsegg, so can we go again with a Bugatti?
I mean, the Veyron's the most insane. What was the other one they bought after the Veyron that was?
Well, they've done a few.
Insane?
They've done the Chiron, named after
That's
Louis
Chiron.
Chiron, the French driver, who also has a parking garage in Monaco named after him. Was he French or Monegasque?
I don't know.
Well, one or the other. I'm close enough to be dangerous. Yeah, the Chiron, and now they have the Bolide, I think it's called. Anyway, regardless, the Veyron was the world's first ever, V16, W16, 1,000 horsepower car. And it changed the game for everybody forever. So as much as the answer should be Brabham, since we're really not an F1, deciding the 12 team, we're just two bozos, I'm going Bugatti.
I'm with you. Bugatti it is. Right, last pair up before we put all the survivors back in the bag. Okay.
One's going to be Peugeot. It
is. Oh, it's Nissan or Nissan or whatever you say.
I'll say Nissan and you say the other word. Well, I'll handle it.
Do you want me to say it the American way, the way you just said it?
Peugeot?
Peugeot. The lion goes from strength. The lion goes from strength to strength, I believe, was the catchphrase.
It's almost like I can't say Bottas. The same thing. It's Valtteri Peugeot.
Now, this won't mean anything to you, but as a kid, the Golf GTI was kind of a bit more expensive. It was outside of a lot of people's range of either buying it or insuring it. Peugeot did a Peugeot 205 GTI that was another little hot hatch that was an insane, ridiculous killing machine on wheels because people would crash it all the time. But so for me, the Peugeot 205, my friend had a Peugeot 205 GTI, and I remember going to a music concert with it. And when we got out, I couldn't hear because of the noise of the engine in the back seat. It was just so loud in that damn car. But I love the Peugeot 205. Nissan to me is a family car. It's a minivan.
Oh no!
Nissan well, maybe no. Sorry, actually no. We've got what's the one they do?
No, they do two that we need to talk about. We won't have to go through this every time. But the Skyline is the Japanese Skyline. Car. Yeah, it started there, and the world over said, "Wow, you can make wicked fast, small cars like that are just a joy to drive and tunable, and they run forever." And the Skyline set the world on fire in that regard. And now they have the GTR, which is
the GTR,
tremendous. And there was a point where a GTR new was like $85,000 in the US, which is a lot of money, but for what you got for it, it was actually one of those cars where when I'd go to the Nissan dealer, I'd look at it and dream. I'm like, oh, in a few more years, maybe I could get a GTR one day. Never couldn't afford it, but it was close enough. Whereas you look at Ferrari, I'm like, I'm never going to be able to afford this. The GTR was that car you're like, oh, maybe one day.
Okay, just watching your face light up, I'm going to have to put aside my childish dreams of Peugeot 205 GTIs and their Le Mans car, and I'll join you on Nissan if that's the way we're
That's
going
great.
for this.
Datsun it is. Land of the rising
Okay,
sun.
right. Let's put these back in the hat, and we won't need to do.
My
the
uncle, by the
backstory
way,
of
had a
each of them
Datsun,
now.
and he loved it. It was like their little.
Yeah, I think
before
I had
they
a
were
toy
named
car
Nissan.
of a. I think I had a toy car of a Datsun as a
Yeah,
kid.
he had a Datsun. He loved that thing. We drove it
Right,
all over.
let's do the official shape for the next round. There we go.
Perfect.
Okay, so
All right,
first
now
up,
we go more rapid fire because we've established
Yeah.
each team.
Oh, now this is an American head-to-head. Dodge versus Ford.
Oh my god, this is hard. Dodge.
I was to say I'm Team Viper, so
Yeah,
I'm keeping
let's do
Dodge in the
Dodge.
game.
I mean,
here.
like
Okay.
it makes no sense. The engineering and the quality is crap. That car will break down twice a race.
Okay, next up we have BMW. BMW versus Lotus.
I think you got to go Lotus, even though I'm a
think you gotta go
BMW guy.
Lotus
I
as
think
well.
Lotus, the history and the current cars, and I mean, Lotus made little lightweight cars fun, right? I mean, I've gone to track days where I'm driving my AMG back in the day, big V8, naturally aspirated, and I'm thinking, oh, I got 480 horsepower, and this Lotus with like 280 horsepower pulls up next to me, and we take off, and it's gone. I'm like, how did they do that? It's like witchcraft.
And you can press a button on the steering wheel, and it becomes a submarine, and you can go underwater. So
yes, the
it's
Elan,
fantastic.
yes. Of course.
So when it's raining and everyone else is switching to wet tires, you just go to submarine mode. It's going to be easy. Right, next pairing: Nissan.
Thank you.
Nissan versus Bugatti.
Oh, Bugatti.
It's got to be Bugatti, right?
Yeah, I can't say it the French way.
Sorry,
but yeah.
Skyline. Sorry. Okay, and then the final pair up for this round leaves us. Oh, the battle of the crazy cars: Lambo versus Koenigsegg.
Oh, this is so hard.
This one's hard because both of these have the ability to come in with ridiculously stupid-sized engines and garish. Well, Lambo probably the garish livery. Koenigsegg with something looking like a rocket.
I'd go
Both like
Lambo.
needs-
I'm sorry, I'm old enough where
gotta go
Lambo
for
was my childhood.
Right. Okay. Which
You
means
all right
the
with that?
final four. I'm fine with that. The final four: Dodge, Lotus, Bugatti, or Lambo.
By the way, can we say the Lamborghini Miura, the greatest looking and best car ever made in the history of the world, possibly? At least in the top 5 with the F40 and the Porsche 959 and a few others. McLaren
You can say
P1.
that. Of course you can. I think
F1,
you just
McLaren
did.
F1 I meant. So, yeah.
Right. Okay. The first semi-final: Lotus versus
I'm on the edge of my chair.
Lotus versus Dodge.
Wow. So these are exact opposites. One of them
100% opposite. One of them is elegant and
Yes.
sleek and has steeped in F1 tradition. The other one is loud and brash and worries more about the sound coming out of the exhaust than anything else.
One of them uses mathematics and has engineers, and they have style and pizzazz, and they can show up in Monaco and go to a casino. The other one got kicked out of the Riverboat Casino in Kentucky for drinking moonshine out of a bell jar. And I love both of them.
I know.
So
I don't know what, because part of me just thinks like, the awfulness almost of Dodge would be just fantastic. But it's Lotus. It's James Bond.
But they had a chance. They
They did have a chance. They've been there, done that. Is it time to put some new kids on the block and go with the Americans?
Yes.
Oh, do you see what I did there?
Yes, I did, and I think we should. I think you should put. Could you imagine if the drivers all showed up and the team principal, they all showed up to the races in old Vipers, and then hopped into the Dodge F1 car, and it said Hemi on the side.
Okay, we're doing it then.
Let's
Sorry,
do it.
I'm
I
really
mean,
sorry,
we're
Lotus.
not
I
doing
feel
this
like
for
I
real.
feel like I'm renouncing my passport throwing the Lotus away.
You did. You just did.
I just did, yeah. Which means, for anybody keeping notes, we have Lambo versus Bugatti in the other semi-final. What a final this is already going to be, regardless of which one we pick here.
I mean, so
My heart
again,
leads
yeah.
towards Lambo just because it's Lamborghini and it's Italian, and some Italian team needs to show Ferrari how to do it properly.
I completely agree with you, and we didn't even mention the EB 110, which was Bugatti's first like super hypercar. that gets no love in the scheme of it was around with the Testarossa and other amazing cars, and everyone glosses over the EB110. That thing is tremendous and basically was the predecessor for the Veyron many years later. But I'm sorry, Bugatti, you're out.
It's Lambo, which means
You are the weakest link.
I don't know if you have a drum roll or any kind
I
of
don't, but
tension
I'll...
music. Okay, thanks for that.
That was good.
It's Lambo versus Dodge in the final. It's Italian raw
Once
power
again, two
versus
opposites.
American. Is it? Is it really? Is it just?
Well, I think of the Lambo as classier chaos.
Okay. They're
You know
both
what?
chaos, though. I would say.
Total
yeah,
chaos.
Lambo has got the Italian finesse, and
Yeah.
Dodge just wants to punch you in the
Dodge
face.
makes... So I know Lambo used to make trucks, and they make tractors. But they're known for their supercars, and that's all they make. Like in terms of cars for the street now. They don't have the LMP002 or whatever the truck was back in the day, and they make supercars. Dodge probably sells 2-to-1 pickup trucks to road cars at this point.
True.
And
Although
if you
my
have a
neighbour-
Dodge
my
250
neighbour's got-
behind you in your rearview mirror, and you're in Wisconsin, the person behind you is drunk, and so you got to get out of the way. So like,
Which is the muscle car? Is it the? I mean, they do a charge around the Challenger, but
correct,
which is
but they're the
kind
same. One's 2-door, one's 4-door. They look a little different, but it's the same idea.
Okay, because the guy
The
down
Challenger's
the
the
street has
2-door, the Charger's the 4-door, and the
Okay, so it's
Charger's
the
closer to
Challenger,
the
so-
police car version.
Yeah, he's got one. He's got this gunmetal matte finished car. So not one of those
Who
shiny
does?
cars. It's the matte. One of my neighbours down the road. He's
Nice.
got. It is something to look at. Every time I drive past it, I'm like, why do I choose kids over cars? I could have had so much more money if I didn't have. No, I love my kids. I'm joking.
Yeah.
But Lambo, they'd make tractors for Jeremy Clarkson. So, oh man, which way are we going on this one, Brian?
I mean, I think we got to go Lambo. It's like, as much as I love Dodge and the Viper and the Chargers and Challengers of today, they make other stuff and they make all their money from pickup trucks. And we joked and put them through because of this, but Lambo is just Lambo, and it's always been crazy. And like I said, the Miura for me was just sex on wheels when I and I didn't even know about that car until I was about 18, and then I went backwards and Lamborghinis passed. And like, greatest car ever made. And the Countach, the Diablo. I've driven Diablos, and like it's the clutch.
And is it the Huracan as well?
That's now the Aventador, the Huracan, the Gallardo, the
okay. You've made a very
Murcielago.
good case. So on that bombshell, the 12th team next year is going to be Lamborghini. So
Amazing.
as chosen by the dirty side. So
Welcome
get ready, Lando.
to the grid,
You've got to get
Lamborghini.
the whole thing sorted now.
Next year, 26. I thought we should give him to 27, but
Nah, just all in now. This Lambo craziness. Just get yourself a chassis, throw some aero on it, some of your ridiculous aero from your Lambos. You imagine an F1 car with like the doors that just
or with doors? Question.
just with doors. Lambo would do that, right? Okay. Right. Well, there we are. That's the big news of the week sorted. The second news of the week is to sort out our casino games for the triple header that we have coming up of Imola, Monaco, and Spain. And I've trimmed it down just because I'm lazy and it's easier for me to keep
And
track
these are
of
the three that
particular
are most
games.
well received by people. They
Exactly.
comment.
So
they
it'll
get
be
these, so.
the roulette table, the three-card
Yes.
poker, and
Yes.
the blackjack is what we're going to go for. So do you have the roulette table ready to spin, Brian?
I do.
And as a
we
reminder,
should-
so a reminder for how these will work. Oh,
it's all teed up. I just have to hit the
it's
button.
all
now.
teed up. Okay. So as a reminder for anybody who's not heard this, me and Brian have got a season-long Rob versus Brian competition where we score points in a number of different things. And one of them is these casino games. And the roulette table, we spin the roulette table, which will give us a number. And we then have to guess which driver will finish in said position, 1 through 20. There is no nearest prize for this. You either bang on or you're not. And I think I got the first ever roulette win last week with Lance Stroll, finishing 16th. Very, very proud about that.
You should be.
Three-
That's a big deal.
Three-card poker, you pick 3 drivers, and if they finish in that order, that exact order, you get... So if they finish together, you get a hand that you got 3 cards alternate together. So if you pick Lando, Oscar, Max, and they finish Max, Oscar, Lando, you would still get a point because you got 3 of them together. But if you get a straight and you get 3 in the exact order, you get the bonus point. And then blackjack is, well, you got to hit 21 and not go bust. And you pick 2 drivers. and we will sum together the points they score in the race. And if you go over 21, you're bust. And if you stay under 21, then whoever gets the highest score out of me or Brian wins that hand of blackjack. So, okay, spin the roulette wheel, Mr. Sap.
5. The number is 5. Who will finish 5th? And so the first race where we're doing this is number 5 for Imola, coming up next week, which we're about to preview here in a second. 5th. You go first, my friend.
Okay, 5th. So let's say both McLarens are ahead. Max is ahead. It's usually the battle of the Mercedes, maybe, or a Ferrari. But not a Ferrari. Or they pump in extra performance just because it's Italy. Oh, screw it. I'm going to take Charles.
Oh, that's about what I was going to do because I was kind of thinking exactly like you were. I kind of want to say George, but he's finishing above 5th, so regularly I may rue that decision. But yeah, you got to have McLaren and Max above there. Can Kimi finish above George? Question. Would anyone else finish above George, or do I go Kimi?
Well, if you put George 4th...
Right. So I need someone to finish above him so he finishes 5th, because I want to...
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Okay.
I need someone to beat George, because I'm assuming he'll finish around 4th at this point. So who's beaten George? Kimi? Charles?
Question.
Yuki?
No. Come on, who are you picking? Otherwise, it's going to be here all day.
Kimi.
Kimi.
Gimme
Okay,
Kimi or gimme death.
Right, roll the machine again. Oh, it's for Monaco, so we actually do have a casino in Monaco, and you'll pick first this time.
It is spinning. The wheel is turning. We are looking for 9th. We are looking for who will finish 9th. All right, in Monaco. So quali will matter. Top speed won't. So I was about to go Williams, but now I'm a little nervous because it's Monaco. It is Ferrari, though, and it is Mercedes. So I got 9th. Gosh darn. Oh, I really want to do something dumb, but I'm not going to do it. I'm going to do Carlos Sainz. I'm going to say Carlos Sainz 9th. I almost said Isaac.
I'm saying Yuki.
Okay, nice poll. I like that. That's a good one.
Yeah, I'm throwing Yuki in there. Okay, so spin the wheel for Spain.
And the final spin is ready. Survey says 6th. 6th place. Very high up.
Low down this time, yeah.
Yeah, very high up for Spain. And you get to go first this time.
George, Kimi. I'm going to go Lewis. This is probably such a stupid pick, but there we go.
Oh, I like that, though, too. 6th in Spain. Spain, a good track for a lot of cars. That's why they always test it so often. Not anymore, but why they always test it in Barcelona. Circuit de Catalunya. I'm just saying words until I can think of my 6th.
I know, you're just padding now until you come up with a name.
Padding. Charles.
Ooh, okay, so we're seeing a Ferrari in 6th between the two of us.
It's just hard to believe that we're almost shooting high. Like we're thinking.
We are.
Sorry, Ferrari.
Okay, 3-card poker. Me to pick first. 3 drivers in a row. I'm going first, so I'm sorry.
Wait, didn't you just go first in Spain? You went Imola.
Oh no,
Spain
I did.
First.
Sorry, with Lewis. Yeah. Sorry, you're first. Sorry.
Cheat. I got this guy cheating over here. All right, so I just need them any 3 in order, and we can't use doing because he's not there anymore. Any 3 in order. Any 3. All right. Oscar Lando Max.
That's what I was going to say. See, it feels like cheating because that's almost nailed on.
And since the points work where it's like in gambling, it's like a trifecta box. So as long as they're in the box, it counts. So just you don't get the extra bonus point for the correct order of them, right? Right?
No, you do. You get sorry. If we both get so now I'm going to pick. So let's say I'm going to say George. Oh, as I try to type as I'm writing, George, Kimi, Charles is my 3, right?
Okay.
If it ends up being Kimi, Charles, George, and Max, Lando, Oscar, we'll tie that hand because we both picked the right 3, but not in the right order.
Right.
But if it was Charles, Kimi, George, but it was then Oscar, Lando, Max, your hand would beat mine because you'd have a
Yep,
straight.
yeah, that's right.
So all we do is say who's got the winning hand out of the two of us. So nothing more fancy than that. Right, Monaco. Monaco. This one is a little bit more difficult because it's
I know.
all
Said
about
the guy I
quali,
had to
like
pick.
you
I had to
said,
pick
right?
ninth all of a sudden. I'm like, what?
So because of what he did last year with that ridiculous lap, and if he gets first, I know we've got to pit twice this year, right? But I'm gonna go Max. Oh, come on, who's gonna do this? Max, Oscar. I can't say Charles. I know it's his home race, but there's no way even in Monaco he's getting that bag of bolts Ferrari any higher. So I'm just gonna have to play the. I'm doing Max, Oscar, Lando. I think Max might nail it in quali, and then it'll be ridiculously difficult to overtake.
Huh. I am going to put the Ferraris together. I think they'll be better with more downforce. Please God, let this be true. And I'm going to say Charles, George, Lewis. So not directly together, but I'm putting it's Mercedes. It's a George sandwich. See how I got that right?
Yes, I did. Well done. Because you don't name the sandwich after the bread.
You
so
don't.
Okay, Spain. You first for Spain.
Boy. I'm going back to the tried and true. And I'm going to say, but I'm going to put Lando first. Lando, Oscar, Max.
Okay. I'm going to go a bit lower down, and I don't know where this will be, but I'm going to say Alex, Carlos, Yuki. Oh, that's bad. There we go. That felt wrong as I put it down.
I think you may be
I was
going to
say Isaac, but I just wimped out at the last minute.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Now we go to blackjack. So pairs, and I can never remember this, so I have to bring up the scoring thing just so I can.
Me too.
Remember. It's
20, same thing. But you're first this time.
25 for first, right? That's the
25 first, 18 second, 15 third, 12 fourth, 10 fifth.
Right. Okay. So to hit 21. What do I want? I want 18 and actually, how do you get 21? We had worked this out before. You can physically do it, or can you not?
Well, yes, third and seventh would be 21. 15 and 6.
Oh yeah, 15th and 6th. Okay.
So third and seventh.
Third and seventh. I'm gonna go then, Max and Lewis. Oh, look at that! I'm gonna put those two together.
That was actually the exact pick I was gonna do.
No way!
I swear to God, I'm to prove it. I'm looking at the Jeddah race results because I'm using that as the analog for what I want to go, and that was actually exactly where I was going to go. So nice pick. Okay, all right, because that's where Lewis finished with 6 points. So I need 21. I am going to say where are we? We're at Imola.
Yeah, it's too dangerous to pick a McLaren, I think.
George.
You just risk going bust.
Exactly. George.
Yeah.
And did you have...
I had Max and Lewis.
Charles. I'll take Charles then.
Oh, Charles. Okay, right. Monaco, what you got there?
Oh, boy. I'm probably contradicting everything I've done so far. But I'm going to take... I'm really afraid of the top three. Because Max can put in a quali lap, and then because it's Monaco, even with 2 stops, he may just be in first the whole race. So I'm going to avoid those just because I need to, and I'm going to say George. And I am going to say Lewis.
Oh, George and Lewis. Okay, putting the old teammates back together again.
I am.
I'm going to go really out there then, and this is probably stupid. But I'm going to go Alex and Kimi.
Wow.
Just because I don't think either of them stand a chance of winning it, and I'm just going to see that, if something stupid happens and George gets up to second and you go bust, I'm just going in to try to get some points on the table that'll be enough to beat you.
Yeah, I mean, 18 points for second, so I would need to have, who was my other person? Lewis?
Lewis, yeah.
Finishing 8th or better if he went second, but that's true, could happen. Okay.
He likes my... Right, Spain. Oh, okay. I am going to go with. I'm going to go with Charles and Kimmy.
Thank you. Thank you for not taking my pick.
Oh, what you got?
Max
Mm?
and Alex. Old teammates back
Okay.
together again.
Back together. Well, there we are. They are locked and loaded.
Malex.
We will be able to look forward next week to Imola to see who finishes fifth. Is it Charles for me or Kimmy for you? Do we get a George Kimmy Giles train or an Oscar Lando Max train? And in Blackjack, do we get Max and Lewis coming in the points I need and George and Charles for you? So that's all locked and loaded.
One quick note before we preview Imola and get out of here for you guys. We want to just say thanks again to everyone who plays fantasy. Renato, saw your note on Discord. I owe you a note back for your prize. And yes, for Miami, it was a T-shirt. I can't promise there are T-shirts for the other American races. They might be socks, might be a mouse pad. Who knows? But we will be giving fantasy prizes for the top winner as opposed to the non-top winner. That didn't work out right.
Talk me through this
Top
non-top
winner. Number one winner for the best.
You've been singing too much this week, I must say.
For the winner of each week that there's an American race. But I did want to bring this up. Renato reached out on Discord. Thank you, sir. And I saw your note. And sorry, it's not a Baku ticket. But Ola Babs in Squid did not reach out via email as we'd asked. So Ola, if you're listening, last chance, or we're writing off the liability, send us a note. You can find us at www.dirtysideofthetrack.com. Has our email on it. Send us an email. Thank you. All right, Imola.
Imola, right, okay. The one that Brian said he doesn't care if it falls off the calendar because he doesn't like it. Actually,
True.
I think I'm paraphrasing. No, you're going to agree, yeah?
Yeah, that's what I said. That's fair.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't say it that bluntly.
63 lap of the 3.05 mile Autodromo Enzo e Dino Ferrari, known as Imola, anti-clockwise or counterclockwise, as they like to say over here.
Thank you.
High-speed corners, drivers love it. It was built in the 50s, or in fact in 1950, ready for testing in 1952, and racing started in 53. It hosted its first F1 race in 63, won by Jim Clark.
But
And then 1980...
But it was a...
Yes, but it was a non-championship event, which we still haven't covered.
How have we been doing a podcast for 3 years, and we've talked about
We're in our
this...
fourth year, by the way, Brian, but, you know...
We've been talking about this for 17 years about figuring out what those things are, and we still haven't done it.
I know.
We're the
And then
worst.
1980 officially became part of the World Championship and was there all the way through till 2007. It was under the name the San Marino Grand Prix, I think. Yep.
Which is weird because San Marino is a microstate southeast of Imola, and it's like its own state within Italy, but it's not. Imola's not in San Marino.
Yeah, I know. It's weird because San Marino compete on their own in international football. They'll play against it.
It's a microstate.
They've got a population of about 12. Yeah. I mean, they have to have literally put all the adult males on the field to take the team, I think. But anyway, they stopped racing there in 2007 for a huge amount of reconstruction. It came back in 2017, but a legal dispute got in the way, and they finally came out of covers in 2020 as the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix. But now all the old records kind of have to go out the window because the revised lap layout meant that it's different distance. It's 3.05 miles, as I said, rather than 3.08 or whatever it was in the past. Obviously, we can't really talk about Imola without mentioning it was the place that unfortunately Ratzenberger and Senna died now, 31 years ago?
Yeah, 94.
31. Jeez, how's that 31 years? If we look at the historic records, we kind of split it because it was the San Marino Grand Prix for so long and then kind of flipped more recently. So as the San Marino Grand Prix, Schumacher is the driver with the most wins with 7, and Williams and Ferrari have got 8 wins each there. Most pole positions there was Senna with 8 and Schumacher with 5. And then the sort of the revised stats are therefore a little bit kind of curtailed because it's only existed since 2020, where basically Red Bull have been ridiculously dominant. Since Lewis won it in 2020, we just had Max, because we didn't get it in 2023 because we had all that awful
terrible
flooding where it caused it to be cancelled. So last year, soon we must be getting to the point where we look at last year, we don't keep saying Max. I know it was true with Miami. We got to look back on a Lando win, but if you think about last season, when we were doing last year's recap, it was just always, Max won by 100 years.
He started, in 24, he started the first 7 or so races just on fire.
Yes.
And Imola, with the exception of the 2020 COVID year when it was run in November, early November, it's always been April or May. So it was still Max's domination at that point.
Yeah, yeah. So he was on pole and he converted it to a win. It was a bit of a weird race, and maybe this is why Brian and I weren't as big a fan, other than like one piece that came together. So Max nailed the start and started pulling away from Lando and started building up a decent gap. And really, not a lot happened other than in the final 15 laps, Lando was just a rocket ship, or Max was just bringing it home. You know, you'll never know. But chased him all the way down to finish in second, zero point 0.7 seconds behind Max. It was one of those ones where I think we said at the time, oh, a couple more laps and maybe Lando's got him. But he never really got a chance to get into striking distance. But then behind that, it was just ridiculous. You had Charles was in third, 7 seconds back from Lando. Oscar was 7 seconds back from Charles. Sainz was another 7 and a bit back from Oscar. Lewis was 12 back from him. George was then another 12 back. Checo was 7 from there.
Yeah.
Stroll was 26 seconds back. And Yuki, we don't even know how far back he was as the final point scorer because he just got marked as +1 lap because he got lapped. So literally, beyond
That's
Lando
terrible.
being like a hair's breadth behind Max, the top 10 were country mile apart. And there was just no action for
So
the
no,
top 10, really.
none of them were in, with the exception of again Lando catching up to Max, which took a while and obviously he didn't catch up all the way. With the exception of that, no one was in DRS range, nor were they in visibility range of the car in front of them.
They were all in their own witness protection.
Which is why I've said this for a while, that it hasn't been the greatest racing since we've been back. Now, there is some hope. If you look aside from Max's domination at the Emilia Romagna since 2020, Valtteri, friend of the pod, friend of the show, frequent contributor to the dirty side of the track.
This is Valtteri Bottas, and you're listening to the dirty side of the track.
Can you consider twice frequent? I'm considering twice frequent. Lewis won from second the year Valtteri had pole in 2020. So Valtteri pole, Lewis won from second. 2021, Lewis had pole, and Max won from third. Okay, so we're seeing a little bit of maybe you can win if you're not on the front row or not on pole. And then unfortunately, 22 and then 24, Max was pole and winner. So if McLaren shows up in the faster car and Max can't put together, or George or Kimi, I guess because we've seen them both be able to do this, but if no one puts up a heroic lap in quali, should we just assume that Lando or Oscar will drive off into the sunset and call it a day? I think we should.
No, I would dispute that one purely on if McLaren turn up with the car and they nail it, so they lock out the front row of the grid, we at least have a chance of equal machinery with very close drivers actually having
the two of them,
a race.
Yes.
The two of them, right? Whereas in previous years, as we just mentioned, I know Lando
but they may drive off into
Max.
The sunset together.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry. I thought you meant one of the McLarens drives off into the sunset and they just hold station.
No.
I think the papaya rules at the moment means that...
I was about to hit the button for that. I was about to have a little...
Papaya rules.
I did see a really, really mean meme the other day that said Zach Brown retorted when people said he's favouring one of the drivers over the other, and the caption, the fake quote at the bottom said, "That's absolutely ridiculous. There is absolutely no difference in my opinion between Oscar and the other guy." That's mean. So I looking forward to see that battle. If we are in the final years of regs and there's a bit of convergence, well, mind you, we weren't that far away from it last year, and we had all these ridiculous gaps. I don't want to see that. I don't want to see huge chunks of time between each of the finishers. If we can just get some of the, like Miami, where we had a lot of battles. We didn't have consistent battle for the lead or consistent battle for podium, but what we did get in Miami is that every time one battle came to an end, the TV direction was able to pick up another battle because, as we covered last time, there was just always a battle going on all the way through. That's all I'd like from this. I'd like to see the McLarens go head-to-head to see who can take the win. I'd obviously love to see Ferrari do something, because as a Ferrari fan, I'm dying a little bit on the inside here. I just want to see a better race than last year.
I agree. And I guess we'll find out soon what happens. We will have our midweek race predictions out like usual Wednesday night or Thursday before practice starts. This is not a sprint race. We don't have a sprint again until Spa in late July. So we'll go dry on the sprints for a little while. Yeah, I'm excited. I mean, as an F1 fan, I can't wait to watch the race. I love it, but I'm a little nervous. This could be a little bit... I may be typing in the notes, lull. Unless
I
the papaya guys go after each other, which is my
True.
fingers crossed. We haven't had that yet this year. This could be the race where the two of them go head to head.
True, true. And I'm just going to be praying on good cell phone signal because on Thursday, Friday, I drive up to Chicago to pick my son up from college. And then on Saturday, Sunday, we drive back. So I've already told him he's driving Sunday morning so that I can watch the race on my phone. It's just, I know there's a couple of sketchy parts, especially through, I think it might be Indiana. Is that the right state? I've got the right one?
Indiana is
that
a state
your
you
neck of
would
the
go
woods?
through.
On the way home, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
One of those big, long, flat ones that never seems to change. We do go through some horrendous cell phone service where I
Probably
almost
more
get nothing,
Ohio
so-
because Indiana you're in probably pretty short amount of time if you're heading. It's narrow, so if you're going Chicago
Okay,
around,
one of those. So
yeah.
I've just got to pray that I get decent signal so I can watch it, and then I'll be home in the afternoon or lunchtime so we can record and review what will hopefully have been a fantastic Grand Prix.
I'm looking forward to it. Rob, you're also invited, obviously, to come to my daughter's dance recitals on Friday night, so feel free. We'll find out if Rob could man up and join me at the dance party. All right, everyone, thanks for joining us this week. We will be back next week as we recap Imola and preview Monaco. Be well.